Just one second. Okay. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, I'd like to invite the speaker, Mr. Vikash Kumar, who will talk about food safety and food security. I now request the speaker to begin. Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Just a brief about Jitban, the food safety and food security topic is like, let's go back to the basics. Like food safety and food security will break up into food losses, agriculture losses, and agriculture wastage. As an Indian culture, we don't throw anything from our plates. That is waste. When you have cooked, we have chopped and make something different. But we are very ignorant what the agriculture losses which happens when the food travels from the farm gate to the retail minus one. I mean, say client minus one. Well, there are reports which indicate that one third of the F&B in India is get wastage. If you say the numbers, we waste more food than the complete United Kingdom consumes annually. In fact, we waste more grains than complete Australia produces annually. That is the amount of food security we have a breach because we don't perceive agriculture as an industry. That is the food safety part, security part. The food safety part is like we are so immune to adulteration of food. We are so used to that mangoes can be ripened using carbide. We are so used to using chemicals in our food supply chain. That is food safety. They are playing. We are so price sensitive, which we normally say you spend equal amount of money on your body. Either the combination is proper food, either food plus medicines. The basic concept of Jitban is just in time in the Kanban system. We are a supply chain company. We are neither an exporter, neither a wholesaler, we neither are technology experts. We combine the dots, we connect the dots so that we work on the food safety and food security aspect of the same. So we'll go brief one by one what we can do. We can say that we generate margin in the supply chain by reducing the losses in the supply chain. And for that reason, we have been EBITDA positive since our inception. Are our food chain sustainable? Is like the problem is the amount of food wasted in India is the amount of food consumed in UK. These are big numbers. When we are talking about we want to export to UK, this is the amount of food we waste in India. The idea is generally we go to time the market. Abhi cold storage mein we'll put in the cold storages, warehouses, when the price go up, we'll sell it. But there is an infrastructure challenge. How much you can stock? The better proposition can be we go to new market, a better paying master market. We can hold for our local consumptions. We'll get the benefit of timing the market. But going to the new market when the spike in the production is there, that means we get a better price for our produce. And the complete supply chain gets into it. So what we propose is solution is enhance the shelf life of agriculture produce to cater to long distance market using technology and supply chain infrastructure. We cannot do anything on air. You need infrastructure, you need supply chain, you need technology. So we generate, that is what the concept Jitban is working on. We enhance self-agriculture produce using technology. We generate margin for all the stakeholders. And we do a pilot. In the pilot kit, we do the warming up. What are the response of the produce? Then what are the learnings from it? Then we replicate at the same before scaling it up. And that these margin generated is on not only reducing agriculture losses, make it more sustainable, it is generating employment too. We can very proudly say, this was an old figure, we have to update it. We have been EBITDA positive since inception. Last financial year, audited balance sheet was 21.9, and this year we have crossed 25 crores. So our CAGR in the last 5 years is around 47%, and we have never been into losses operationally. A startup last 4 years is being EBITDA positive, growing at a rate. That means we are doing something correct, which our numbers are speaking around. We are just trying to generate margins from reducing the agriculture losses. The infrastructure, these are the two infrastructure. We have got 3 infrastructure in Bihar. These are the two infrastructures built by state government. We were the successful bidders for this project. We have a bigger infrastructure for banana pack house and ripening chambers in Bihar, the biggest in Patna, Bihar as of now. The gamma irradiation facility, the integrated export pack, or these both the facilities we offer as a service. Irradiation as a service, cooling as a service, warehousing as a service, and exports as a service for agriculture produce. The idea is when infrastructure is connected with technology, they go for long distance market, and that is what we cater to. If you see the customer market analysis, it's like there's always a demand for healthy produce. There's a demand even locally. In fact, we say that Bihar is a price sensitive market. We can proudly say that that time was 15 minutes an old PPT last year. So it was 15 metric tons per day in Patna, but today we are proud to say I think GST is more than 20 metric tons per day. So this working on the technology and going to a new market, enhancing the self life is catering to both the problems in one go. It goes to food safety and food security together because we are being very ethical in the way we are processing our produce. And this ethical behavior, ethical process, ethical SOP makes a compliance for an export division because exports cannot be done in an unethical way. You can't use chemicals processing fruits and vegetables or any agriculture produce for exports. They are very stringent norms. There is almost zero tolerance for the same. The value proposition and what we say, what we offer is like we are not trading. We are putting value. We are enhancing the strength of the existing supply chain. We are not building up a new supply chain. It's a blue ocean strategy. We are working in a domain where hardly any people are working. We are not timing the market. We are enhancing, we are strengthening, we are supporting the existing supply chain to go to a new market. And that is why the competition is not about the price, the competition on the quality aspect. And most of the time we realize people say it's a very price sensitive market. And we are trying to work it out. No, price is one factor. We can't be exorbitant costly, but we can be at a notch quality centric. And quality is not a cost in our supply chain because the quality with what we are trying to build it up is in the cost what we can save from the agriculture losses which is there in the supply chain. And this gives a stickiness to the customers because these sort of infrastructure is not easy to build up. It takes time and the way to scale it up, and that we are working on. Last 25 it has already crossed. 2025 was 21.5, this CAGR and EBITDA. The turnover has crossed last audited balance sheet 2024-25 was 21.5 crores. And this year it is not audited yet, but we have crossed 25 crores this year. So we have maintained the consistent graph of growth, and we can say we are bootstrapped without taking external funding. Yes, we are bankable. We are banked by State Bank of India, and that is what we work on. In fact, we are the pioneers who have worked on makhana. We are pioneers who have worked on tamarind. First time we have worked on mushroom. So that is what we work on technology before scaling in the pilot stage. If we can say awards recognition, we were there in COP28, and that was we were invited to show what we are doing in Bihar to highlight what is because UN COP28 was more about the climatic changes, UN climate change. But what is the agriculture losses that goes to methane emission? We are worried about CO2 emission, but methane emission, people are not, they don't quantify the amount of methane and what are the global warming potential it has. That is the reason why we were called in COP28 in person. And we were the top 10 companies, top 5 companies from South Asia who were called in COP28 to put our views that what we can do over there. We are already in Bihar. We have been qualified for the tenders for one of the biggest pack house and irrigation facility in Bihar. In fact, this facility with the composite is one of the biggest in India. We are part of a UNAPO also. We were called in G20 with about the energy efficiency, what we designed in the machineries and all. We were in the technical part. Since I have been a technical auditor in my career time, we have been invited by NRDC, National Research Development Corporation, for implementing the Kigali amendments of the Montreal Protocol. That is about refrigerant. clean collaboration about the climate interest, about the climatic aspect. So in a nutshell, we are the blend of technology, blending, connecting with the agriculture backend to go to the long distance market. That is what we do as a company. That is why we told in the starting, we are not a trader, we are not an exporter, we are not an SPS compliance stuff. We are a blend whose idea is to connect the dots. We collaborate and connect. We don't compete with the stakeholder. We collaborate. We work together so there is a synergy so we can go for resonance and enhance accordingly. In the starting, we went from banana, then we lychees, we were the pioneers into it. We went from the farm gate. It was a gradual journey, last 4 years. We have been the pioneers, the first mango exporters from Bihar, the first sea container exports from Bihar, we did it. Similarly, we did for vegetables from Assam, we worked on pineapples, then the vegetable exports from Bihar. So it is the food safety is such a aspect. It's such a noble cause. The food safety and food security, when you cater into it, it gives you a lot of flavors of employment generations, gender-wise and stuff. You solve a lot of problem gradually. When a startup like us can do small things and the impact can be so visible, think about when it's replicated and scale with different aspect of it. And we started with the soil testing report in 2021 that what is the kundli of the soil, what are the problems with the soil. It was a very basic and noise start from the starting that we at the forward side of the supply chain guy went a bit back foot on the back end towards the farm gate to understand the problems and stuff. That is those some pictures explaining the same, the lychee intervention, what we did. It is very, Bihar is the biggest producer of lychee, and now with irradiation, we are doing this here for irradiated lychee to Dubai. Gamma irradiation, self-life enhancement, pericrab browning reductions, and thereafter reduce fungal and yeast mold. Mangoes, we have been there, anthracis, fruit flies. We are still working on spongy tissue this year with AVP in Singapore, that how to reduce and get a predictability of the fruits before shipment. That okay, when this fruit reaches US, what life we predict. That we are trying to build up an IoT and blockchain based with getting all the data from the farm gate, connecting dots with all the data over there. So okay, this shipment has been done at this parameter. There's no variations in the SOP. So what is the SOP? What is the lifespan you can expect when it reaches the country of destination, the consignee country? About the founders, myself, Vikash Kumar, I was a marine engineer, 2013 batch chief engineer, then a marine superintendent, and thereafter an auditor. So what we see, we were fortunate enough to see the technology, the industrial interface of agriculture, like major food giants, you say I don't want to name the companies, but we have handled the reefer vehicles and the banana carriers and the supply chain of the major global giants from Philippines to US, Europe, Latin America to east and west coast of US. This what we are trying to simplify in India. Simplifying and customizing the supply chain as per the local supply chain is what the mantra is. It is always good to have a standard, but standards can be customized as per the local needs. That's what we are doing. We are three founders, myself, Vikas, Soni Kumari, and Premada. So they are like first female entrepreneur in Bihar with the APMC exposures. Premada is ex-director in Apri Services and it has vast experience in imports and exports. Executive partners, Sumit, Susil, they are into plant operations, interventions. So team is building up. Currently, we have built up 6 startups from Bihar who are doing implementing agency for our staff. So infrastructure, we start building up the infrastructure and we are infra-based companies. It is not that we work on completely online stuff and app-based. We believe that for agriculture produce, infrastructure is the key. It has to be infrastructure with technology, and IT will add and enhance the efficiency. Without having an infrastructure, probably we feel that it is very difficult because that is the way the global industry sees around. I mean, like handling a banana carrier, moving banana of 100 million US dollars. That is way the companies move banana from Philippines to Europe to US. Those is the cost. And with that investment, they make money. It's not that they are doing any charity job. They're paying like a good amount of money. They were handling the cargo, and the investments come into play when infrastructure investment with technology, with SOP comes into place. This is what the brief for directors. And this is all from my side.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Vikas, for the presentation. Now, will
I can share one more PPT, which
yeah,
is more latest, so it will be easier to connect. Give me a second. We were in top 20 of Beta Bharti. That is a brief challenge, uh, what we are working on. This is a nutshell, 6-page PPT, what we work on. These are not, this is more on the technical aspect, what we do. Is it visible, ma'am?
1 second. Yeah, the photo with all the fruits.
Correct. So the
Yeah.
first page remains same. So this is what we worked this year itself from, I think, October 2025. People say makhana is foxnut is a superfood. But people don't accept the fact they are insects if this compliance doesn't come into place. There are people who are selling machines to remove insect. But why would we like insects to grow into our superfood? The point is that we have to go to the root cause when we want to go to a compliant export market. That is what we worked on. There were near misses in US when the Makhana foxnut had incidences of insect in the packaging in US. Even when Makhana got an HSN code, GI tag 8-digit HSN code, then Europe also notified and came into implementing that they are now concerned with the microbial load. India is still struggling with the insect and stuff. The total plate count at TPC is 10 to power 3. That means it is a potential of a produce to produce microbial, that is the TPC count, the yeast and mold, Lactobacillus, Salmonella. So what work we work with Baba Atomic Research Center with the irradiation, we comply to these norms. Our packed stuff comply to all these norms working on. This is what we worked on. An SS grade Makhana processing, hand picking process, seal packaging, and the gamma. This is the way we work on stock. Complete export compliant stock can go to any place in the world. Nowhere any consignee country can say that this is not complying to the norms, either microbial load, hygiene, and stuff. Similarly, we worked on tamarind when tamarind in South India was having so much of issues, even from Vietnam. We worked on the microbial load reductions, and it is good enough now to comply to even the CBI Europe norms. Vietnam and all, we can easily comply. Technically, we have been the first exporter of mangoes. These are a few snaps from Dubai mangoes in Mango Mania. Then sea container exports first from Bihar, then the export pack house. And this SPS now this year we have got irradiation also. So we are applying to get all the compliances for even the Euro USDA. Hopefully we'll be getting this season. Even mushroom, what we the Bob Atman Research Center, when people say that had a shelf life of 4 days, we have worked on 21 days mushroom shelf life. We have touched Bhutan, we have touched Nepal this time with Bihar. Bihar is the biggest producer of mushrooms. So we are trying to develop the local produce to a long distance market and with an assert SOP that so that it is scalable. When scale comes into play, even a smaller margins helps you to cater to the technology and the supply chain cost. Lychees, we are there. Last year we were there to Lulu. This year we are again doing it to Dubai and other countries forth with help of irradiation. We are enhancing the shelf life further this year. And this is all from our side. This is the irradiation facility background during the starting initial days. So yes, ma'am. Open to questions. I'm
Okay.
done from my side.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we'll move on to questions. So the first question is, what are the major challenges in ensuring food safety and food security in India today?
The major challenge from our perspective is you have very small farm size. So maintaining an SOP and uniformity of your post-harvest management is a challenge. So until as you have a proper SOP in place at the farm gate, at the back end side, the food security goes for a toss because the agriculture losses increases. The smaller the farm size, the aggregation is the cost. So I say that aggregation, what people call I'll go back one step back. We say mandis are bad, but I would say mandis are not bad. They are not just efficient because they don't have any carrot that, okay, if we enhance the quality, the farmers are not collaborating, the farmers are taking the heat of the price. If a system comes into a place that, okay, we want the quality SOP, and that system is infrastructure, what we say. Infrastructure is a magnet. When we say not even export compliance, we say safety, food safety, what we consume, what our kids consume is a safe food. So the biggest gap is the smaller farm gate size and negligible post-harvest infrastructure in India. That's what we can say.
Okay. Next question is, how can better supply chain management reduce food wastage and contamination?
Food waste is post-harvest management, what we technically call in food losses. The better the supply chain is, there's better handling. For example, you say fruits and vegetables, single packaging at the aggregation center. Second packaging is in the export pack house or the pack house where it enters the cold supply chain. So if you have those protocols in place, the losses are going to come down. And when you have got suppose when you have a cold supply chain existing, then you would have less reasons to look for shortcuts to compensate for the infrastructure gaps. If you have a supply chain, if you have got a ripening capacity, if you have got a mango ripening facility, there would be no reasons that you go for carbide or ethyl ripening. So infrastructure gap plays a very crucial role in these sort of structures.
Okay. And uh, yeah. What role does technology play in improving traceability and quality monitoring?
That is, I told AVP, HTML, yes, AVP and network, what we are working on. We are working on the blockchain is a simple the way Indian Post Office works. All the data have been transferred in the chain. So the traceability aspect, ma'am, can work when you have got infrastructure where your traceability can point. Do we have the farm gate farm registered? Suppose I'm talking about mangoes. Are the farm registered mango net? You know what are the number of trees at per acre at the farm gate? Then it goes to the export facility. Is that export facility accredited? Then you have the plant quarantine norms. Are the machines accredited at hot water treatment or vapor heat treatment? Is the irradiation facility got USDA, Malaysia, and Australian accreditation in place? So once you have the infrastructure which are up to the global norms, then the point comes that okay, you do track because traceability from my perspective is like suppose I eat one mango. Now, if I don't feel good, I should know where the problem lies. Is it at the farm gate? Is it at the supply chain? Is it at the infrastructure? Where things went wrong? So as a customer, for me, traceability is I should know that what I consuming, everything is in order with the click of a scan of a mobile. It is a compliance norm when you're talking about Europe, US market and stuff. But we Indians also want traceability. If I'm offering something to my next generation or my elder generation, both are very fragile. One is in growing stage and other is in a stage where they are getting weaker day by day. We would be more responsible when you know that your supply chain is in place and there the traceability comes into play. We feel traceability should be both within India, the way we think about exports. What we consume are the food safe. Food safety, traceability can be a picture, but for that, people should have the guts and confidence to say, yes, this is the supply chain what we work on.
Okay. How can farmers adopt safer practices during harvesting, storage, and transportation?
Over there, I will say one thing: farmers will adopt better, safer practices when they're getting a better price. Suppose you are selling mangoes for like 80 rupees a kilo for US exports. You are selling mangoes at 20 rupees a kilo for local market. So naturally, the farmers at our local market would not have any incentive put their more energy and market. So our responsibility should be that how we can connect to a better market, how we can ensure that when the spike in the production comes of seasonality is nullified by getting to the long distance market. So the price variations will come down. And when there is a price, money matters. When the farmers are getting good quality demand and then people are paying for it, then people pay, they expect quality. So it goes back until the farm gate. When the farmers are getting a good chunk of the price of the produce, not the middleman, then the realization, it is an automated process. Probably we don't have to invest or stuff into it. We just have to ensure that we connect to a good, better market. Starting a pilot the way we do pilot and then replicate. Once replicated, it scales unanimously. It has an exponential curve, which had been witnessed in like banana in Bihar. We are witnessing the same stuff in mangoes. You just have to exemplify and walk the talk that this happens. People will replicate when something goes good because the risk in replication is pretty less. That is why scalability does not need that much efforts. That about efforts what we have to put into the pilot stage. And at the pilot stage, it's not only the company, it's not only the farmers, it's a complete ecosystem which works together to make a SOP. That is the way it works naturally without putting much of energy.
Okay. And what are the key risks affecting food security under climate change and rising population?
Security is the first thing compromise because the moment the food losses increases because of the climate changes, with technology we can mitigate that climate change risk. There are a lot of stuff which can do it. So climate is affecting a lot of food security aspect. That is a fact, but infrastructure can nullify a lot of stuff into it. We cannot fight with the climate change, but yes, we can reduce the impact. Even it's a cycle. When the climate happens, the food rots in the farm and it goes wastage. It emits ethylene, which has a higher global warming potential as compared to CO2. So it's a chain reaction. Somewhere we have to go into and stop it, at least reduce the magnitude of it. And that is the way it can slowly, one step at daily, probably make, even improving 1% every day. That's the Japanese way we can enhance a lot in a year or so.
Okay. Next question is, how can cold chain infrastructure help in improving food safety and shelf life?
It's a basic, you as a human being has his own tolerance limit. We feel suffocated when we are at a sub-zero temperature or even at a cold 4, 5, 6 degrees, there's a chilling injury. And when we're at a 40, 45 plus, we feel the heat stroke. I think anything agriculture produce, they are alive. They have their own sensitive range. So we have to understand cold chain is not only a magical stuff. You put anything in the cold so it goes alive. No, every produce has a different segment. We have to understand that there are segments we have to follow: ethylene emitting, ethylene absorbing. This banana, for example, it goes bad less than 8 degrees, 10, 13 degrees, 12 degrees. It has a chilling injury. So we have to understand banana bee is a cold supply chain stuff. You cannot put your banana in a refrigerator. It's a tropical fruit. It will go black with a chilling injury. So cold chain can enhance the shelf life of the produce, reducing the food losses. But we have to understand, are we using the cold chain in the proper way? Are we having a cold chain designs produce by produce? Because every produce responds. We can have a bunch of produce with the same domain, but we can't have a thumb rule that you put anything in the cold so that goes alive. That doesn't work.
Okay. And what are the most important food safety standards and regulations farmers should know?
Food safety, I would say that from the farmer level, that means we're talking about pre-harvest, plant care and fruit care. They should know what is like what the pest limits and what are the pest control ways which are not harmful when it is post-harvested. These are something with the agriculture department and horticulture department respectively. And the meetings are happening around in the farm at root level. So it should not be that you have a problem in your farm, you go to any of the shop there and you just ask them as a local doctor and you say, yes, spray kar do, and that works. It doesn't happen. We don't go to a non-qualified doctor when we fall sick. Similar pattern has to be adopted by the farmers. Then when there is an infestation or the problem in the farm, they should have go to some quantified, if not educated, a trained person. At least the trained person can guide to the respective correct person if the problem is so big that it is beyond it, at least he can refer to a place. That is the way we happen when you go to a doctor. He suppose we have a problem, he cannot solve, he refers to a specialist. But we cannot go to any untrained staff or a BSc graduate that, okay, I'm thinking I'm having a serious problem. We don't go that way. We should have the perspective of same intensity with agriculture. The plants don't speak, but they suffer equally.
Okay. And how can FPOs and cooperatives strengthen local food systems and supply chains?
In fact, FPOs and cooperative are collaborative. They combine unity is strength, both in purchasing of the farm get input and the selling in the post-harvest stuff. They have better capabilities. In days to come, they are growing definitely and they should grow. It's just gradual process where we have to refine and we can improve on the same. Because they are the guys, because the problem of small farmholds can be, that problem is solved because when they aggregate and unite, that means a bigger farmland is available for the produce.
Okay. Um, yeah. Next question. How is Jitban Supply Chain Limited, Private Limited, working to improve food safety and reduce post-harvest losses?
Food safety we are working on because we are working the SOP part. So we are not using anything which is not permitted. We are trying to follow the toughest norms. That's what we have observed in Makana, what do you say, in tamarind and even banana and mangoes. So we comply, we don't use any chemicals or carbide or anything which is carcinogenous in nature. The food safety we are definitely working on. And food security is a replica of the same. When you're following the standards, that means you can nullify the effect of spikes in the agriculture produce. As a startup, we don't say that we are doing a mammoth stuff, but we are making an impact being felt at the place where we are working.
Right. Okay. And what innovations or technologies has your company introduced in supply chain and logistics management for agriculture?
I'll say we are simplifying and customizing the supply chain. We are not just cut, copy, paste the global standards, but fortunately, we have been exposed to when I was working. We are trying to customize it for banana, for mangoes. I'll give you one example. When banana comes in South India, it is a pre-monsoon, mangoes. When mangoes come in South India, Maharashtra, Gujarat, it is a pre-monsoon mangoes. That means the problem of anthracnose, that fungus is negligible. Maharashtra is struggling with spongy tissues. They have a different set of problems in the mangoes. The moment we consider North India, you say UP, Bihar, West Bengal, they are somewhat monsoon mangoes. When people stop eating mangoes in Maharashtra, when the monsoons arrive, we start eating mangoes. So the process of treatment of mangoes in South and West India would not be the same what the process of treating mangoes in East India. where we have a high chance of getting anthracnose, fungus, stem rot issues in mangoes. So that is what the local we work on. The local customization as per the climatic condition, what best suits that the shelf life and the compliance of the produce increases. Yes, ma'am. I think you are muted, ma'am.
Sorry. Yeah. Last question. So please let us know little about your career background and how you started your company. What was the reason you started the company?
I was a marine chief engineer, a mariner, from Shipping Corporation of India. Went into multinationals in 2013. I was a chief engineer. Becoming a chief engineer, in fact, I was the fastest in my batch. We realized that I was more of a technical person, and I needed more of a exposure to enhance my, yeah, rather than being complex in the domain. I personally chose to diversify my experience. I went into my full-time MBA from SPJ in Mumbai and Alibod, US, and came as a technical person with a MBA exposure back to Hong Kong, where I was handling the core supply chain domain and audits and technical stuff. Coming to India was a personal touch because of parents and all. We came back to Mumbai and I started using my exposure in the import export domains. COVID was a time when we came back. Bihar is my birthplace. I came back to Bihar and it was a small investment in Patna, and that made huge losses during the COVID first era. So we realized that if something is making losses, we are making something more fundamentally wrong. So that time we came as a pilot that to revive the Bihar investments, but I started loving it coming back to Bihar. I started realizing that if we don't come back and change, we don't expect people to fall from sky and do the changes at your birthplace. So we just tried. It was not a philanthropical stuff. We see a market opportunity over here because if something there is a place where nothing great has been done, so you can do a lot of stuff, and there is an exponential growth which is visible from our balance sheet too. So we started investing, putting more time. In fact, we have winded up our. I'm not technically we have not winded the Mumbai division. The GST is still on, but practically last 2 years we are not doing anything from Mumbai. We are based out in Bihar, operating three infrastructure, and we want to look eastwards because we aspire to open the gateway from Bihar to West Bengal to Andaman to stuff and be global because this is the easiest exit gateway for a landlocked state. So this exposure to the domain during my job experience, combining, and because we know Bihar, I was born here. Till class 12th, I was here. So it is something I understand the supply chain. I can understand why mangoes go rot in monsoons, why people are using carbide because that is a dry method. So what is the way you have to do hot water and VST, not for export compliance, but even to reduce the effect of anthracnose. So when we work to a place where we have been connected by roots, and we need connect the dots, we customize the supply chain, and that is the reason why I love being in working over here in Bihar. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. That was good to know about your company and about how you started it. So once again. Okay, Mr. Vikas, I don't find any more questions. So I think now we have come to end of question round. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we'd like to thank you for the presentation answering all the questions. So we'll be ending this meeting now. Have a good evening and good weekend.
Have a good evening, ma'am. Have a nice weekend. Bye bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye.